Today's topic is the Shadow Army. Spoiler warning: if you're someone who has not read the manga and does not want to be spoiled, this is your warning to click off the video. For everyone else, the Shadow Army, or the Army of Shadows, is the Shadow Monarch's personal army of undead soldiers. The Shadow Monarch is the king of the dead. As such, he has the ability to extract the soul of a dead creature, be it a human or magical beast, creating a loyal, subservient shadow version of their original self. The first Shadow Army was led by Ashborn, the original Shadow Monarch. After battling with the Monarch of Fangs and the Monarch of White Flames, the Shadow Army was nearly wiped out. After Jin Woo gained the ability to use shadow extraction, he will begin building the new Shadow Army. Later, however, Belion, the Grand Marshal Grey Soldier, returned to the new Monarch of Shadows, Jin Woo, leading what remained of the original Shadow Army. Shadow soldiers are essentially creatures made out of mana. Because of this, they can continuously regenerate until the Shadow Monarch runs out of mana. The regeneration ability is arguably the most useful aspect of the Shadow Army. Since they don't have to worry about being killed, they can go up against foes much stronger than them and just continuously regenerate until defeating the opponent. The army consists of roughly 100,000 shadows. Shadow soldiers are ranked based on their strength. Their power is also linked to the Shadow Monarch's power, so the stronger the Monarch gets, the stronger his shadows will become. The ranks within the Shadow Army are as follows. Standard grade. This is the weakest possible rank of a Shadow soldier. Even though they're the weakest rank, you can still find soldiers as strong as D rank or even lower tier C rank hunters. Next is Elite grade. These guys are the most common types of soldiers among the Shadow Army. In terms of strength, they're roughly equal to that of a B rank hunter. Some of these soldiers include guys such as these. Knight grade is the next rank up. At this level, the Shadow soldiers are able to be named, and they start developing a personality, even begin to show emotions. They are as strong as an A rank hunter. An example of a Knight level soldier is Kaiso, the dragon type mount that Baran, the White Monarch, was riding on when he got his ass beat by Jin Woo and his army in the Demon Castle. Next up is Elite Knight. At this rank, their personalities develop a bit more, but this is where the Shadow Army's ridiculous forces begin to show up. These guys are as strong as an S rank hunter, the strongest rank among hunters. Only a handful of S rank hunters have even been awakened, and these guys are just casually fighting on equal terms with them. Some of the Shadow soldiers with this rank include Jima, the boss of an A rank dungeon, as well as the Shadow Giant Jin Woo gained from the S rank gate in Tokyo, who, although he could have named Jin Woo, just so lazily decided to name him Shadow Giants number 1 through 28. General grade. These soldiers are among the strongest in the army. In terms of strength, they are about as strong, maybe slightly weaker than a national level hunter. At this level, the Shadow soldiers begin to talk and communicate with others, even Jin Woo, addressing him with only the highest level of respect and endearment, always referring to him as my king or my liege. This, of course, because all Shadow soldiers feel an overwhelming sense of loyalty to the Shadow Monarch. An example of a Shadow soldier with this rank is Greed, who was an S rank hunter as a human. Also, at the end of the manga, we see that High Orc Shaman Tusk becomes a General grade soldier as well. Commander grade, or Marshal grade, is the highest grade that a Shadow has been shown to be able to evolve to. These Shadow soldiers are all beasts, capable of holding off even some of the weaker monarchs. Like Igris, after Jin Woo completely awakened his Shadow Monarch powers, Igris jumped 2 grades, having his abilities also fully awakened as the Knight of Death and one of the King's 2 wings. He was able to hold off the Monarch of Frost for the time it took Jin Woo to defeat the Monarch of Fangs and travel back to where they were. And of course, how can you not talk about Beru? Beru is a monster. As the second most powerful Shadow in the army, Beru has some of the most busted abilities of them all. Aside from the fact that he has incredible strength and endurance, he can fly, control the size of his body to increase power or speed. He has the ability to spit out a highly concentrated poison from his mouth using his sharp bladed-like tongue. He also has the ability of gluttony. This allows Beru to gain the abilities and knowledge of those he eats. He gained the ability to use healing magic after eating the body of S-rank healer in Jeju Island. With all these OP abilities, who could possibly be stronger than Beru in this army? Well, that individual is the only person holding the last rank. The Grand Marshal grade is a rank given to only the strongest soldier in the Shadow Army. The only one we've seen hold this rank is Belian. Belian is a being that was born from the World Tree as a fruit, somehow. What kind of fruit? Who knows? Maybe a deliciously tempting apple. Belian fought alongside Ashborn even before he had become the Monarch of Shadows. He willingly became his first Shadow Soldier and served him until the end. After Jin Woo fully awakened the powers of the Shadow Monarch, Belian returned, alongside the rest of the original army. Belian is immensely powerful and fast. He wields a long broad sword that has incredible power. It can also be turned into a whip-like blade similar to Renji's Sabimaru from Bleach. He is fast enough to counter Beru's speed and strong enough to beat him into submission. Unlike other ranks in the army, only one soldier can hold this position. Also, this rank is given to the strongest Shadow Soldier in the ranks, meaning if a strong enough Shadow were to come, Belian will be demoted to a regular marshal. Beru, the second strongest soldier, challenged Belian for the position and attempted to defeat him, although he was ultimately beat down into the ground. So for now, Belian will continue to hold the title as the strongest soldier in the Army of Shadows. At the request of Jin Woo, the rulers used the Cup of Reincarnation to turn back time 10 years in order for him to defeat all of the monarchs alone in the Dimensional Rift without having humanity suffer from the war on Earth. Because of this, Jin Woo comes to lose the shadows that conflict with the past. Some of them include Elite Knight Grey Soldier Iron, formerly known as A-Rank Hunter Kim Chu, and General Grey Soldier Greed, known before as S-Rank Hunter Huang Dong-so. Although losing some of his soldiers took some manpower away from his army, he will more than make up for it in the 27 years he spent in the Dimensional Rift. After defeating all of the monarchs, Jin Woo arised all of the monarch forces, making them all now part of his army of shadows.